Hello.
Look at that. That came up rather quick. Oh, look,
Yeah.
there's nobody in the chat at the moment. So we're like, oh, there's one
Sure out
person.
while they're
That's
doing-
got to be Rita, isn't it, in the chat? I'm just going to guess.
Rita.
Oh, Rita.
Rita from the kitchen.
It is Rita from the kitchen. Yeah, he's keeping us strapped into the kitchen. That's what he's doing. So how are you boys? How are you boys?
I'm
Good.
dying. I'm not
Not very
well.
well, mate. You got the old
No.
man lurgy, as they say.
Yeah. Apparently, it's man flu's comparable to childbirth. I've heard, so pretty rough.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard worse.
Yeah.
I've heard worse. Are you, Rita? Yes.
Hi, Rita.
It is. Apparently, it's meant to be. They've said that man flu is worse than women get it when they get ill like that. They get it worse than women.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to cope with this.
No, exactly. And still keep your daily grind in your normal life.
Yeah,
and walk around with the bug.
Carrying on, keep on carrying
mate,
on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They go on about this childbirth and that. You know what? It's not like they got to give birth in a hut and go out into the fields anymore, is it? Those days are gone. Do you know what I mean?
They get
those days are gone. How are you, Robert? How you doing, bud? How are you, Nettie? Sorry, I missed Nettie then. How you doing, well,
Nettie? Yeah.
So you're
suffering, in the name.
You're suffering.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you get better really quickly. I know there's a lot of it going about, but the way the weather's been changing, it's not really a surprise, is it?
No, it was. I was telling Eric, it was cold here this morning when I got up.
Yeah, it was bloody freezing here. Absolutely freezing.
We even put the heating
damp
on.
mist.
Yeah.
With a damp mist. I can't remember much of a summer.
Well.
To be honest with you, those couple of weeks we had away were like torrential. I think I fucking sprouted a couple of leaves and branches.
Yeah.
Was that wet? But
start quacking soon.
Start quacking, sounding web feet. Eric, how are you, bud?
Good.
Excellent.
You know, I was wondering why people are wearing jackets in Scotland, like winter jackets almost already.
I'll tell you what, this is summer in Scotland.
Yeah.
If it was snowing here, it'd be summer in Scotland.
It'd be even more colder up there than it is down here. All this.
They do. Hi, Charles. Hope you're doing well, bud.
Hi, Charles.
Hope things are good in Texas.
Bit warmer out there.
Hi, Catherine. Excellent to see you back.
So what are we talking about today?
It was good. Hiya, Nico.
Yep, sorry. Hello.
So
So
yeah,
what are we
so that
doing
was
today?
yeah. So at least you know. But you're all right, Eric.
Yeah, I'm great.
Good lad. Good lad. You got no sniffles or anything? No.
No.
But yeah, it's a bugger, isn't it? Man flu. It's awful.
Yeah.
It
Not
does.
nice. Not nice.
No, it's not. Do you know what? When I get it, I'm okay, and then when I've got it, I'm like crap. But it's after it. It's trying to get over it. And
yeah.
The older I get, the bloody harder it seems to be to get over it.
Yeah. Get it on your chest, and that's it.
You better change your pants then, Catherine.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody to the Weird Room, and this evening is another topic that has been actually picked by Tim. Bless him. He's a good lad. He's been picking quite a lot of topics lately, and all good ones. So, this is I'm going to hand it over to Tim. So, Tim can just introduce and tell you a little bit about what the topic is. I guess most of you know.
Well, I come across this video the other day, and once again about the Fae, and it was ever so interesting, and they linked it with all people go missing all over. People go missing all over the world all the time, never to be seen again. And this video was brilliant, and it showed a few cases on there that can be connected to the Fae, and there was a couple of cases, and one actually was more like I thought it was a UFO. There was this girl, she was she was a teenager, and she what was her name? Anne Reynolds. Anne Reynolds, and she went out in the woods one day, and
Catherine's a Fae
and she went missing for a few days, and she eventually went home, and she told her dad that she'd been taken by these little green fairy men, she called them. But this sounds like aliens to me.
Yeah.
These little green men took her into a castle in the sky
Oh,
and done things to her. She said,
that sounds
sexual,
alien, doesn't it?
yeah, sexual things, yeah.
That sounds
And
alien.
yeah, it really does, because a year later she said, "I know they're coming for me again. I know they're coming for me again." And he went, "No, no, they won't. They won't." But they did, and she was never seen again. She just went, and they never saw her again.
How old was she?
Oh, about 15.
Oh, jeez. Poor
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
God
There
bless
was
her.
quite a few cases, and there's like Alaska, especially. There's like millions gone, just disappeared.
Yeah, it's been happening recently too.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
national parks across the states are inundated with. I mean, oh, yeah, you know what? Of course, people get lost due to, they get injured, they fall down something, they get cold, they do whatever, they're not prepared for it, or they just generally get lost, and that can happen. Yeah, it is the washing up very liquid, and that can happen to the best of people. Even people that are seasoned, that can happen. But the amount of numbers is just not adding up, because the amount of numbers of people going missing across the states. And actually, the guy David Paulides, who's been the guy who's doing the 411 and has written all the books.
You watched it, did you, Dan?
I know David Paulides. I don't know him, but I know of him. I've been following his work and that. And the thing is that he's an ex-police officer, and he's been trying to get details from the national parks, and the authorities have turned around and said, "No, you're not having the numbers of people that have gone missing. We're not giving you details of people that have gone missing. Even though you've come to us with the appropriate and requisite paperwork, we're not releasing it." Yeah. And it's like, well, that's dodgy. So he spoke.
Yeah.
He spoke to a few of the park rangers, and a couple of the park rangers came over to him, sort of whistleblowing, and said, "There's some serious stuff going on in these parks that I can give you a rough idea, but I daren't divulge the whole thing for fear of repercussions." Mm-hmm. So he detailed a lot of them, and then what he did is he worked out a network, and he's worked out that these are happening certainly in Western Europe, because obviously that's all that he can get access to at the minute. But right away from the United States across to here, to UK, he's made connections. So some of the people that have gone missing in the UK have gone the same way as the people that have gone in the national parks. So they're just walking through a woods and then bang, gone. Or they've just come out the pub, walk across the road, bang, gone. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. No, there's no absolute idea for it. What's going on. So he's got that going on. And I agree. There's a thing I was watching today about, you might have seen it yourself, about a tribe in America of Native Americans. It might be more than one tribe. If you want to make those or you protect you, leave a new bottle of whiskey for them. I'm not even halfway joking. Yeah. That's the way I adore people if they leave me a bottle of whiskey. But but the thing is that what was I saying? Sorry, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought now.
About the Native Americans.
Yes. And people didn't know whether it's a warning for the children to stay away from dangerous areas or whether there's any kind of truth in it. Now, a lot of the myths and legends and a lot of the paraphernalia like that surrounds the native tribes, they'd swear blind that it was fact. And they said they've got a myth or a legend that they call it the Shining Rock. And the Shining Rock will come and take you. And I'm thinking the Shining Rock sounds like a spaceship.
It does.
Tic-tac.
Exactly.
Shining. That sounds like a spacecraft.
It does.
And I think, well, that's pretty odd, isn't it? That's odd. But then there are things with. Have you ever had, when you're walking for example, there was a woman over here, and she did this walk daily. A farmer's wife did this walk daily across the fields in Berkshire, and she got turned around. And even though she recognised it, it all became alien in her mind. She couldn't work out where she was or the direction or what have you. And so she was turned around in her head. So what she did, she stood there for a while, and then she heard a rustling behind her. When she turned around, there was a 3 foot tall being, like a person, like an elf or something like that.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
he pointed for her, and then she followed it, and she got back on track. Well,
Yeah.
do you know what? I wonder, because, I mean, I've done it myself. I'm sure a lot of people have done it. If you're out and about, you're driving along, you know the place really well, but all of a sudden you think, well, hang on, I've thrown myself out. Why am I going this way? I shouldn't have gone that way. I know I need to go that way.
Yeah.
And where am I now? Where am I now? What am I doing now? Do you know what I mean? For a split second. And
Yeah.
it makes you wonder if it's something interfering with the electrical impulses in the brain or the mind. But I don't know. But the interesting thing about it is that there's a thing in when people used to go into the woods and they come out and they were sick, they would call it fae struck. You've been fae struck or struck by the fae. You call it fae struck.
Yeah.
And so somebody come out ill, you'd use their limbs or ill, what have you. Well, that's where we get the word stroke from.
Yeah.
It's been put
right.
down. Fae struck, stroke. And that's how we get stroke from. And that's where, yeah, and that's where that comes from. So there's lots of these terms and words and descriptions that they kind of link into the fae. And you know me, like you, I completely believe in the fae, and I do think that there's a lot going on there. But I do wonder, you know, with things like poltergeist and spirits and stuff like that, I wonder how much of that is fae as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We convince ourselves we're communicating with a spirit, but are we, or are we communicating with members of the fae? Who knows?
Yeah. So it, you know, all these missing people, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, we had it was my mum and dad's friend, and they used to go out together with this couple. And one day, the man of the couple supposedly went to the shop to get a paper, and he never came back, and he was never seen again. He'd gone, but there was no, you know, there was nothing right. He weren't unhappy or
just not missing.
Yeah,
there was one.
He got no money. He'd only got enough money for a paper, and there wasn't the technology then where you could bank in and all that, you know. And that was it. They never ever saw him again, ever.
No.
Yeah, it's just strange.
Yeah.
What perplexed him was the items of clothing, footwear found perfectly folded in piles miles away from where the person went missing, but no body. The interesting thing about that is the police turn around and say, well, you know what? When people get hypothermia, they get hot. So they take their clothes off. They don't fucking fold them.
No.
They don't fucking fold them and then put your shoes on top of it all neat in a pile, leave it on a set of rocks. They don't do that. So all that, it just sounds like they're making stories up to cover their ass. But I think they know exactly what's going on out there.
Yeah. They're not going to say with these national parks because they bring in so much money, don't they?
They do. Yeah. There's a story as well. I think it was up north somewhere. I can't remember, going back in the days of coal. And this guy, same as your friend, said to his daughter's wedding the next day. So he said to his wife, just going to pop up to the corner shop and get myself some cigarettes. And a paper. So he pops up the corner shop, never saw him again, didn't see him again.
Yeah.
Next day rolls by, it's his daughter's wedding. So she's thinking, well, I can't get married without my dad. So eventually the mother convinced her, look, you need to go through with this because it's what your dad would want. And if he's not here, then there's something clearly not right. And the police to this day have got no explanation for this. And one of the chief officers turned around and said, the only explanation I can find for this is alien. He went, and that's the only thing I can find to cover it, he said, because it's such a perplexing case. They found him a week later, no clothes on, perfectly good condition, but there was a slag heap of coal. Right? He was spotless, but he was laid on top of the slag heap of coal. Nobody walked up it. Nobody walked up it. He couldn't get to the top of it. So somebody, whatever, like they placed him down there from above. And the copper said, we got, it's just perplexing. And even to this day, they can't find rhyme or reason for what the situation is.
No.
What did he say about it?
Who's that?
The man that it happened to. Did he? I see.
Dead, yeah, found dead. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I
thought,
he did have marks
on his body. He had marks on his body that were attributable to his death, like needle holes and things. But there was no
No.
Something had been extracted, but nothing had been put in. That type of thing. In America,
Yeah.
aliens, they don't have a job anymore. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I think we had one copper here, didn't we? Who drove something very different. Yeah,
Over in the UK.
yeah. It's there was one copper here, wasn't there? Who up in Yorkshire again. He got a call out to something going on at about 11 o'clock at night, and he didn't think anything of it. He got called out. Then he saw this light, and then he drove towards this where the light was, and then he drove into it. He saw it, drove into it. Can't remember anything else.
Wow.
Then he came out of it 3 hours later, and they called him on the radio, and he's lost 3 hours of time. And then what they did is they took him away like years later, and they did like regression on him.
Mm.
And he told you that he'd been taken up in a ship and he'd been kidnapped, and this is what had gone on. So this is a guy, ex-military, became a police officer, you know, straight as you can get, proper fella, none of your bullshit, and yet that's what he says happened to him. And I've got no reason to disbelieve him, you know.
No.
But how much of it is? See, I wonder sometimes if all of these things are connected to the same origin point. Ghosts,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
whatever. Ghosts, poltergeists, fae.
Yeah. We've said before, I wonder if it's all connected, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. And a lot, as I say, a lot of the stuff that they say, well, poltergeists do. Well, yeah, but so do members of the fae. You know, little tricky things that they pull on you, and moving things and tidying things and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things. The fae do that. But I was like, Catherine says, maybe that's why I want to leave. Don't bother coming here, Catherine. It's not worth coming here, mate. Hi, Nick. I hope you're well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that these people. And there was another one, a guy who was, and he was probably in his 80s, this fella, and he had he's an old hunter. He had rheumatoid arthritis in his knees, and so he couldn't go far. So I think it was his son and his nephew, or his son and his grandson, took him out hunting, and they said to him, "Look, we're going to go up there. I'm going to go up there. All you got to do is sit on this rock or sit up here, and just shoot. If you know, just hunt from here." And they were gone for about an hour. When they come back, he completely disappeared. The gun was still there, but he was gone. And they said, "Well, he must have walked off." They went, "He couldn't walk. That's why we left him there. He just couldn't walk."
Yeah.
But there was no access for cars or vehicles, so it meant if somebody like a human had done it, they'd have to carry him miles. So you know, because they pushed him down there in like a wheelchair type thing. So it's really odd.
Mm.
You know, it's really, really odd. But what do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I think I think you're on the right lines there myself. You know, I often wonder if it's all connected, or the whole paranormal thing. It's it's strange. You know, if it's like the Woodwells, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, is that just a fae?
Well, yeah, is Bigfoot a member of the fae? They all could be, couldn't they? I mean, you've got dog men and what have you in America, and over here now they're starting to appear.
Yeah, that's seems to be getting more common, dog men here, doesn't it?
But I'd never
Well,
heard.
I refuse to call them dogmen anymore because they're not dogmen. They're werewolf, no matter what anybody is.
Yeah. It's quite
just
odd.
Choose to change the terminology of it for whatever reason.
It's quite odd though, because it's kind of they got 1 foot in the spiritual and 1 foot in our reality. So they can get injured and hurt, but then by the same token, a guy said he drove through the legs of one, and it didn't. He just went through it, and he didn't knock it over or anything. So it's quite odd.
And they'll find just one footprint.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rather than the footprints just stop.
Yeah.
It's like
if you can imagine it, it happens. You can see it. You know what I mean? If the human mind can imagine it or maybe conjuring it up, maybe something is getting into the psyche of people and it's approaching them the way that they would feel more comfortable to be approached, or the way they'd be more frightened to be approached, depending on the, the friendliness of the energy or the spirits.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a case of, you know what, I'd really love to see a Bigfoot. Then one of them will come and be fine with you. Or if you're terrified, I don't want to see a Bigfoot. Then if you see one, it's going to be showing itself to you because it wants to be aggressive. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Well,
but
I wonder
go on, mate.
I wonder if we'll ever know.
Well, I do know some things. I do know by listening to Grizzly and some of the people that he has on, and he has ex-military and ex-government on. And one guy actually does a whole compilation of Bigfoot encounters. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of Bigfoot killing people, killing animals. So I know they're at least physical in some form. So
yeah.
I know though we were having a discussion last night and Bigfoot came up on that and Viv asked, are they all of the same mindset? And I personally, I don't think they are. I think they're like people. I think some are probably friendly, some probably not. Some are grumpy, some are happy, some are easygoing, some aren't.
Yeah,
same with animals,
like
some animals are dopey friendly. Yeah, exactly. And some would like have your throat out.
So they don't mention
We'll call him Woodwoes. We'll call him Woodwoes, William.
Woodwoes put here. I'll be calling Woodwoes when I get over there. So
I always call them Woodwoes. I'm not a fan of the term Bigfoot. It's a bit like Tex from Texas, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Bigfoot, sort of quirky.
I mean, that's obviously the American terminology for it, isn't it? Bigfoot, which is
Sasquatch is better, isn't it?
Sasquatch, which is a Native American word, isn't it? It's a derivation of it. So nah, definitely not. Definitely not, Robert. It's definitely some. I think it's. I don't know. It seems to look like some sort of ape or a missing link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have royal ass goblins, yeah.
But they have been seen Bigfoots with different coloring, like red hair, blonde fur, brown, black. So
yeah, well, that's again like people, isn't it? We're all different.
Just different, yeah. People are different. Animals are different. It's same with the dog men. They were saying that some have got like proper like wolf snouts, like a proper wolf snout, and some have got like a bulldog snout, like a muzzle.
Or look like a Nubis.
But it's like, yeah. Which I guess is just, it's like people, isn't it? I suppose we all come in different shapes and sizes and colours and what have you, and it's just the same with animals. But quintessentially, we're all pretty much the same thing. Visual disorder known as, what's that? Prosopagnosia. I'm going to skip that word.
It's true.
Calls humans to see people as demons.
Prosopagnosia here.
But do you know what, Nico? The one thing I find weird about that is that that illness that they're saying, it makes people see demons. I never heard about that a year ago.
No.
All of a sudden, that seems to have crept out of the woodwork. And it seems to have crept out of the woodwork when people are coming forward and saying, I've seen this bloke and he's a demon. Or they've got a face of a demon. Or when I look at them, it's like that girl on the plane. Do you remember the girl on the plane?
Yep.
No.
She got taken off the plane. I think, was she in America? And she got taken off the plane because she was screaming about the guy. There's no way, he's not human. He's a demon. He's not. And they took her off the plane. And then when they interviewed her again, and I thought to myself when I watched the interview, that doesn't look like the same girl.
No.
And all of a sudden, this girl was, it was just nothing really. I thought, no, that's bollocks. You're covering this shit up, and you're not even doing a decent job of it. And I think that's what it is. I think maybe people are actually seeing these things, and they know people are seeing these things. If you like, maybe the mask has slipped, and all of a sudden they've now got to find a way of covering it up. I don't know.
That's why they changed. That's why they changed night vision goggles from red to green, because people were seeing demons and creatures coming out of the forest at them.
Yeah. Oh, it's just only using it quintessentially, William. It's not been used as a term as in demon. It's something, not a negative energy or something that's evil or nasty or
see, we're going back on determination of words, and I have a problem.
Yeah,
with
but
it.
it's not been around forever, Nico, is what I mean. Same with dogmen as well. They've not, you know, we've had like Eric hit the nail on the head. Werewolf. Yeah, I can understand that. If somebody says werewolf, I'll understand. When you say dogman, I couldn't understand it for about 3 or 4 months. Hi, Noreen. Hope you're doing well.
Oh yeah.
For help aids things on. Yeah. It's that's odd. It's odd. A lot of it smacks of cover up, but not even a very good cover up, which makes me think, well, you know, is it? Are they throwing a red herring after a red herring, and then a bit of truth in there? You know, it's like you see these things in films, don't you? There was the thing with Predator you were mentioning earlier, and there was the thing that was the glitter thing. It would glitter. You could see it glitter, but you could see the shape, but you could see through it. Like Predator when he goes into that mode, and all of a sudden,
like
there's things now showing up that have got that ability, and they're saying, "Well, Bigfoot could have that ability," and I'm thinking, "Well, hang on. So you've known about this shit for years, but it's like you're leaking it out in films, like feeding people a bit of information at a time, you know?
Yeah, just drip feeding them.
I keep saying,
to be honest,
I keep saying over and over again that Stargate, the TV series, hit right on the nose with all the stuff that they were saying.
Never seen it.
Brilliant. Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, you've got to watch it, Tim. It's superb. It's absolutely superb.
I'll look it up. Yeah, it's like the UFOs. They're disclosing gradually, aren't they?
I think it's people trying to cover up what you know you've seen. You know. Yeah, that's what I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. I'm barking up the wrong tree. You know, I might be
just
completely
a theory.
Wrong. Just a
theory.
Spitballing, really.
Well, then a lot of these disorders that people apparently have that keep coming up year after year after year, they just put an end to it because otherwise they just think you're nuts. So,
well, it's, you know what, the world seems to. Yeah, I agree with that, Nico. Yeah, I agree with that. The world seems to have gone freaking nuts, though, doesn't it? It's more than I don't know. As what? Let's be honest with you. The world's not the nicest. The world's beautiful. It's the bastards in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
governments.
Nothing wrong with the world. It's governments, and it seems to be that they're getting particularly aggressive now. We're in the West. They seem to be getting very dictatorial, very aggressive with the people that voted them in, and it makes me wonder what's giving them the confidence to be this aggressive. Because to be honest, you could be fearful pulling stunts like a lot of these governments are pulling at the minute because of the people rising up. But obviously they think that they've got the upper hand for whatever reason, which is why they can be this horrible. And all these things seem to tie in at the same time. All of these people seeing these demons, negative energies, whatever you want to call them. It's just weird. It's odd. It's odd. It's not. I don't remember. I mean, going back to the 80s, people seem, even the 90s, people seemed a lot more pleasant, friendly, outgoing, nicer. And now, I don't get me wrong, a lot of people are lovely. Most people are lovely. But a lot of people could turn on a coin, I think, now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of anger in the world now for no reason, you know. It's like I remember years, you remember yourselves, guys, that if you had a particular political persuasion, if you had a particular political persuasion, you could chat with somebody about it. You know, you could have difference of opinions, and you could have a drink with somebody and still be friends with them. But now, if you dare vote for somebody who they don't like, the curtain comes down, and they want to make you lose everything you've got. That's communism, isn't it? That's not that's not nice. So exactly all those people who have seen UFOs and aliens and come forward only to be told that they're wrong. But in 2018, the government came forward and said, "Don't be alarmed." But he said, "Well, yeah,
they did,
right, thank you, Captain No Shit. Tell me this guy." Yeah, do you know what? It's got to the point. I think, Catherine, That's true. Absolutely, William. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Apart from Margaret Thatcher.
At the moment have been, yeah, somehow planned, maybe also. Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. And I think that name there is somewhere behind it all.
Yeah.
Behind all of the ills and problems.
Well, considering the fact that the government has a Pacific task force to deal with cryptids, aliens, and everything else, a black op task force, there's something going on.
Yeah, else they wouldn't have a mouse, would they?
No, I knew something was up when America said they announced the Star Wars project.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, and then they had. Do you remember they had a special dedicated military force to start to the?
Did you ever see Reagan's first speech?
Space.
Did you ever see Ronald Reagan's first speech? And I know over here I did. The first thing he says, the first time he ever comes on TV, is aliens, not illegal aliens.
Yeah.
Space aliens.
Yeah. He also said something which is very telling. I think that it hits home today. He said, and I can't fault the man for this. He said, the most frightening word you can hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that the problem with government is the government.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine, but I don't like anyway, we're getting off politics now and we don't want to do that, but
no.
we don't want to go down that route. But, big government, no, not big government. I know what, out across the road and out to read and do things. I don't need them telling me. But, yeah, it's interesting. But, I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, the fact that he couldn't, that David Paulides couldn't pull up or they wouldn't produce those numbers for him, I think is very telling. Even though he had the requisite paperwork to get them, for them to release it, and they still wouldn't release it. For a while now, global force flag. Do you know what, Nico? That would not surprise me, mate. That would not surprise me at all. And that's the thing. First thing I said when they showing them Tic Tacs moving. Do you remember when the planes were picking up those Tic Tacs? Yeah. And people were going, they can't move right. They can't do this. They can't do that. And this before I heard about Project Bluebeam, the first thing I thought of is, well, you can if it's projected. You can do anything with a projection.
Yeah.
Exactly, Catherine. That's probably what you meant. That's exactly what you meant, I would imagine. Sasquatch is here to be for people to be introduced to aliens.
Could be.
That's good. Do you know what, Charles? That could be spot on. Absolutely. It might be a way of softening us up or what have you.
And that's not the first time I heard that, too.
Are these Sasquatch and these dogmen, are they two opposing? See, I'm sounding like, what do you call it now? Like, what they called Tom Cruise is a member of it. Mm-hmm. What is it? He's a member of, Tom Cruise?
The Illuminati?
No, the religion.
Oh, wow.
Ron L. Hubbard. Scientology, with the fighting aliens above us going on. There's a war going on. And you wonder if this is, could this be the Bigfoot and the Dogmen? Could they be part of this? Who knows? But thanks, Catherine. Yeah, but they'll send you mad thinking about it. But anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting. But then you got to remember that a lot of these people going missing, and a lot of people being found in mysterious circumstances, and people getting lost in woods and being turned around, stuff like that. They were going on way before big government was here. They've been going on forever, haven't they? Those stories are as old as the hills, You can go right back to the 12th century and find information on people having run-ins with what they believe to be members of the Fae. I mean, even King James, he was a big proponent of the fear of the Fae. He was really interested in it, And that's going back, 700-800 years. So it's intriguing. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. And I wonder how much the church know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nicola. It's not often I'm spot on. I'm probably wrong, but...
No, but even if you are, you're at least close to the truth. You know what I mean?
We're all got our theories. And,
It's all theories, isn't it? It's all theory. It's all spitballing, like they call it, don't they? But SPZ organisation is supposed to be a fairy tale. They don't really believe in all that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I wonder. They've done it. Whoever's controlling mankind has done a very good job on discriminating against those elementals, those energies, those beings, because they don't really want us going near them, do they? They don't want us,
No.
you know. And it
No,
makes
no.
you wonder, well, why not? Why not? But you know, if it was for our own good, then you put a warning out there: don't go near the woods, don't do this. These are loose, that's loose, something's going on. But they're not telling you that, are they? So it makes me wonder. You get it all under one umbrella here, William.
Yeah, yeah, because they could be the same.
It's all, yeah, it could all be connected, couldn't it? It could all be somehow connected. But I do wonder if there's a particular, I don't know what you want to call it, energy, spirit, being, universe, is all pulling the strings with us.
Yes.
You know? And I think the thing you've got to remember as well is that we're part of it. Maybe we're not meant to know it. Maybe we're just like, you know, does the cog that's down here in a watch know that what the cog up there does? You know what I mean? But it's all still part and parcel of the same thing. You know? But it is interesting. But as I say, the Fae and people going missing and getting lost with the Fae have been going on for centuries. Yeah, and in America they call them, like over here, they call them the hidden people, don't they? And they believe they live underground.
Yeah.
You know, they said that there's a theory that they live sort of jowl to cheek with people.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, we fell foul of them, which I can believe that because we're not really, overall, we're not a particularly nice species. And I think that then they've gone underground to protect themselves or get away from us or what have you, you know, and can't blame them for that. But it's intriguing.
Yeah, I haven't watched the news since COVID.
No, all bollocks. It's all worried. Because it's dangerous and more we let us swim in the ocean, we know less about what's. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And there's more and more stuff coming up from the ocean. They've been finding a whole bunch of different creatures that they have never seen before.
Yeah, what do? You know, they pull up a creature and they go, "Oh, look at this! It's ugly. It's that. It's that." You know, actually, no. That's your definition of ugly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that you found something that we didn't know existed or we thought's been extinct for millions of years is fucking phenomenal. It's amazing, you know. See it for what it is. See the beauty. Like you, Tim, me with spiders. They're stunning animals. Yeah. I don't get what people are nervous or worried about. They're stunning creatures.
I love spiders, snakes, anything creepy crawly.
You know, it's like we're taught to, but yeah, it's almost like we're conditioned to stay away from these things, but not told outright. You know. And the whole cover up stuff, I don't buy into that shit. I don't like that. It's very disingenuous. But that's, I guess, how they work, isn't it? But it would be interesting to track back. Or maybe me and you could do it, Tim, and maybe Eric could do it as well. We could all do it. Maybe try and get some information about people that have gone missing that have been attributed to have gone missing by the Fae down through the centuries.
Yeah.
You know, because there's definitely
that'd be a good project. Yeah,
that would be a good project, wouldn't it? And building up some sort of, you won't get them all clearly because a lot of them either files get missing, go lost, get burned, or they're not, people aren't entered in or whatever. But you know, you'll get a track record. It'll give you some idea of the amount of people that have gone missing.
Hey, Lorna.
Hiya, Lorna.
Yeah.
But I think they probably underground, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like where William comes from, isn't it, Mr. Southey there? It's the you know, you've got Glastonbury tour, and there's meant to be like fae or gnomes that live in that, aren't there, or elves or what have you, that are said to inhabit that. I don't know. I think there's there's never any smoke without fire. I think there's something going on.
Yeah.
But
do you know about the just before I just started to look up about the Tommy knockers. Have you heard of those?
Yes, the book. What's his name wrote a book on it, didn't he? Stephen King.
Yeah,
the Tommy knockers. Yeah.
It's this what I was looking at was they were down the mines.
That's exactly right. They came from. I don't know if it came from. I did a ghost tour of mines years ago in Cornwall, Just a
All
tour
right.
with a medium. Actually, he was really good, because he told me things that I would never have. For example, I said to him, I thought I'll test him out. I was with Hazel at the time, and I said to him, "Is there anybody here with me?" He went, "Yeah." He said, "There's a bloke with you." I went, "Okay. What? Can you tell me anything about him?" He went, "Well, he's in uniform from the First World War." And I thought, well, yeah, good. That could be anybody, couldn't it? My age, grandfather, great, could be anybody, couldn't it? Great grandfather, what have you? And I went, well, can you tell me any more? What uniform is he wearing? You know, what is he? He said, well, he's Nut Royal Navy. And then my ears pricked up. And he went, he's telling me that he's your grandfather. He's called Tom. I was like, fucking hell. Bang on, absolutely. Never met the man before in my life. Did no information when I booked, but he knew bang on. But he was telling us about the mine. He said, you still get knocks in this disused mine because the knockers, the Tommy knockers. And he said that's what the miners used to go down the mine with their pasties. And what they do, they eat the pasty, but then the crust of it, which they used to hold with that, they put that down for the Tommy knockers. So they would leave that there as an appeasement. And then if there was anything dodgy, they'd get a warning from the Tommy knockers by a knock. And then they'd know not to, let's not drill there, let's not do that on this coal face or tin face. But it's interesting. But all of these things are all connected, aren't they? And
that's the fact, isn't it? Yeah.
It seems funny that, you know, since the advent of technology has run riot, everybody seems to have forgotten about those myths and legends. But those myths and legends, they were around for centuries, you know. But I think we got too sophisticated with it. Don't they, knockers? I think they think that people have got too. They feel they're too sophisticated now, and that they're relying on science all the time. Don't get me wrong, science is great, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't turn around and say, well, science is great, therefore all this stuff that's been going on for centuries, that must be bollocks and nonsense. Because that's you cut your own throat. You know? Okay, let's talk knockers. I've got a t-shirt I bought from a guy, it arrived recently, and it's got a Bigfoot on it, and it's got what's it on it? I've got big knockers written on it, which actually is quite true for me. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But all of these people and these legends and these myths and, well, I think reality, I believe, that people, they dedicated their lives to, they looked to it for protection, they looked to it for help, they looked to it. All of a sudden, when science came along, they discarded that. Well, that's just old wives' tales, isn't it? For 1,000 years, there must be something in it, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. That's exactly. We think along the same lines, I think. Exactly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we do. And I think that's...
What about you, Eric?
What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I think you're pretty close to it. I mean, there's many things that I think science can prove. If you relate in that way, you know, to find out. Like, I could use science to try to prove that there's Fae, Bigfoot, whatever, you know. Just have to find a way to do it.
Well, it was Einstein who said, didn't he, no matter how ridiculous the idea or the thought, in fact, the more ridiculous it is, the more chance you've got of making it a reality or it being real. A 10-foot tall fuzzy man or a 30-foot tall leopard horse moose with a 15-foot neck.
Oh.
That reminds me of that one moose walking on top of the water.
Nothing has surprised me. Nothing. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And it does make me wonder what do the oceans hold? Because there's, you know, things like mermaids, for example.
Yeah.
And well, it was I think it was the do you see the video with the RNLI?
No.
They put one out on the sea.
I've seen one on again. My favorite show.
They've taken it down.
One of my favorite shows, Paranormal Con on Camera. Literally was taking a video while he was on fishing out in the ocean, and a mermaid came by.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's the thing. That's the thing. And this thing they pulled out of the ocean wasn't the prettiest of things.
No,
Okay.
was Bigfoot.
Oh, no, it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tickled me. But it's interesting, isn't it? It's like, but this was on there. I saw it, and Viv had seen it. We'd seen it separately, and then she went, "Oh, you got to look for this footage." And I went, "I've looked again. It's gone. They've taken it down. It was a proper RNLI boat, and they pulled it."
Oh,
And it was like, what the? But you know, we don't know because the ocean is vast. We know more about space than we do the ocean.
I used to be on the RNLI when I lived in
did ya?
Devon. Yeah,
Oh, did you?
yeah,
That's cool.
That's
My
re-
granddad was in the RNLI. Yeah.
yeah. Because we were up, because we were inland. We only used the ribs, the Atlantic 75. You weren't allowed to go out on it after the age of 45
Oh, was that?
because they supposedly thought you weren't fit enough. But
What
there
about
we
the
are.
other boats? Is there any age restriction on those, or is that all of them?
Not the bigger ones. You know, the ones that are offshore, the big boats.
Yeah, but those rubber rib things that shoot across.
Yeah, I think you can still go on those older than that. But
interesting.
Anyway, you reminded me about the things in the ocean because one day, one of the local crab fishermen come in and he'd found a grey seal, which is a big creature.
It's massive, yeah.
They are massive.
Yeah.
And it was cleanly bitten in half. Bitten
Well, it's
in
not
half.
supposedly meant to be anything in our waters that can do that, is there?
Well, the biggest shark we have down there is the poor beagle, supposedly.
Is that a basking?
No, the poor beagle's a species of shark in its own right. It's grows to about 2 meters or so, not particularly big.
Is it aggressive or
No,
not aggressive?
no, it's diets fish mainly. But so, what the hell bit this grey seal in half? You know, that's
well, no, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah.
That was like the World War II thing. U-boat blew up a cargo boat, a big monster thing blew out of the water. Yeah, it's odd. It's odd. We just don't know, do we? We don't know.
Giant alligator somebody was talking about.
Mind you, I spent 5 years in the Navy, and I didn't see much because I was pissed most of the time. But is it Man United head overboard, chucking up?
a C6 sailor.
only after walking through Plymouth and getting pissed up in all the cheap bars.
Union Street.
Union Street, yeah.
That's the weird thing about me is I don't get seasick. I get land sickness once I'm done out on the water.
Oh, trying to get you. Trying to get you.
Oh, that's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's odd because like if I've been out on for a while on a boat, when I came back, I used to you'd walk and roll. And
yeah.
And I remember a girl was a wren. They weren't on the ships at the time; they were still land based when I was in it. But I remember, like, I wasn't going out, but she was just a mate of mine. And she went, "For fuck's sake, will you move over there?" She went, "You're going to knock me into the road in a minute." And I kept banging up her arm. There was the shark with the tracker suddenly taken from near the surface to a mile down in minutes.
Wow.
This is not a small shark. Yeah, we don't know what's in that ocean, do we?
No.
We don't know. You know. I mean, there could be bases down there. Could be all sorts of things, couldn't there? You know.
Yeah, that's a new theory coming up about the ships are already here, aren't they? And they're based underwater.
Yeah. You wouldn't have a clue, would you? You know.
No.
If you can get a hold of old radio shows, look up Journey into Space. They go through all this about 1940s when they did their shows and stuff. They talk about all this stuff.
Journey into Space. What would the was that the one with the doctor guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always a snivelling wretch.
Yeah.
Will Robertson. That was it, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, that's
Or was that something else?
that was something else. No, this is an old time radio show right before TV was.
Oh, the radio show. Right. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, no, right. So, my ancestors were sailors, says Catherine Murphy. Do you know what? So were mine, Catherine. Mine were Royal Navy for 750 years.
6 months. Yeah, that
Gosh.
was the factors on.
Long time.
I know what it is.
But yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. But you know, I don't know. It's just odd, isn't it? And like the Bermuda Triangle and that, there's something something apparently the American military have found out there, but somebody announced it, then all of a sudden it got covered up in the last week or two. They found something that could blow it wide open, but then they've all of a sudden it's gone. But you know what? You don't know whether what you're reading or seeing is the truth, do you?
No.
You know, so it's all conjecture, isn't it, and what have you. But I found it interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be a good side project, and you try and find out some information on people that have allegedly gone missing, and like it'd be interesting to see the ratio between adults and children.
Yeah.
That purported to have gone missing due to the Fae.
They tend to blame children going missing on paedophiles, don't they? And
yeah.
But not necessarily so. Not necessarily so, maybe.
Well, no, they used to do the whole in Ireland. I'm assuming it's the same as everywhere. They used to do the changeling thing, where they would take your baby at night and then leave a Fae baby there that wasn't particularly nice or pretty or what have you, according to people that had it. And there was one in Ireland at the turn of the 19th century, turn of the 20th century. And so you're looking quite recently, and they believed that the daughter had gone down to the woods, and she came back, and they said that's not her; she's a changeling. And they ended up tying her to the bed and torturing her, and ended up setting light to her and murdering her because they believed fully that she was a changeling.
Oh,
there was a Doctor Who show on that where something was leaving baby changelings in place of real children, and.
Yeah, see, all these things seem to be coming out in film and TV series and stuff like that. You know, it all seems to be bleeding through. You know, but it's an interesting subject, though, isn't it? But well, like always, we've gone in 30 different. But that's what happens, isn't it, when you talk about a particular subject?
Yeah, it does because it's all linked. That's why I think. Yeah,
I agree, Catherine. I suppose Chance Brown's article. Yeah. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? There's maybe one in the Congo or something as well that they've big spider. Be cool if it was, but
well, what? Just 5 years ago, they found a new species of spider in the Congo. So
they find something like 300 new species a month or something.
Yeah, something
that
like
they
that.
discover, which is fucking phenomenal, isn't it, really? But then how many do we lose?
That's right.
How many do we lose, sadly? Yeah, I think you're right,
That's
Nick.
basically how it
bleed
happens.
it through. Sorry, Eric?
Basically how it happens through movies and TV.
Yeah. Like this whole, you know, like Tim was mentioning, the whole Predator thing, you know. I'm bracing on the kid if it burns. It's not your kid burn. Yeah, they don't like iron, do they? Yeah, they don't like iron. That's if you want them in your home and stuff, your garden, you not have anything iron in there, apparently. But
bless you.
Yeah, but it's good. Bless you. Well, that was another week done. I hope you enjoyed that. I know we go mad, but you know, it all sort of links in, doesn't it? You know, it all links in. But so that's intriguing. So Tim, you might have a guest at some point, mightn't you, mate?
Oh, did you? You saw my message? Yes, that's for Brannigan. Yeah,
fantastic. Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah, she's quite big on the face, so I'm just waiting for her to get back with some dates, and then she's going to come on. She's agreed to come on, so that'll be great.
Whereas the guy I'm going to try and get on at some point. I did arrange it with him before, but he couldn't make it because he was doing other podcasts. But he had him and his friends had a run-in with a dog man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
Chased by it.
Wow.
And they tried to hide in this disused building on the edge of town. And he said that he thinks they're spiritual, because he said the thing that he noticed when it was running, there was fire coming out of the bottom of its feet.
Gosh.
So yeah, he said they were terrified. They were crying. They pulled this thing across the top of the stairs like a cabinet, and this thing was up. His arm was trying to get them, and in the end, police sirens were on the bridge that was going across by the town, and this thing heard the police sirens and done a runner for it, but the kids wouldn't come out until daylight, so they waited for the crack of dawn before they'd leave this building because they wouldn't feel safer. And then when they got home, they got a rollicking off their dad, and they got a policeman who came over because they wanted to talk about it. And anyway, he talked about it to the family and stuff in front of the kid and said, "Oh, you know, dirty, what have you, dirty, you know, don't be going over there because, you know, there's drunks around, there's drug addicts, and they do all sorts of horrible things." He said like that. He said like the guy that was homeless. He said, "We found his body in there the other month. You heard about that?" And he went, Yeah, I heard about that." He went, "Well, you know, there's things that can happen." So then when the parents went in, the cop turned around to the kid and called him over and went, "What you saw last night was exactly what you think you saw." He said, "And if you value your life, you'll stay away from there." He said, "And that homeless man, he didn't die through thugs." He said he was torn to pieces by what can only be described as something that was frenzied.
Yeah.
It was ripped apart, this guy. And so hopefully I'm going to get him on to talk about his experience and that. And it was him and 4 of his friends. So, yeah, it's interesting. Oh, did you find? Oh, excellent. Oh, they cut it then. Thanks, Charles.
Cheers, Charles.
Thanks, Charles. Send our love to Texas.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So, another great evening, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks everybody for being in the chat. Really enjoyed it. You tickled me a few of your comments, which is always good. And
brilliant.
Just going to say that tomorrow night we've got, what is it? The
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday with Nettie, Bri, and Ian. And that's a great show, Freaky Friday. I love watching Freaky Friday.
Yeah, so
always interesting, always good chats. Just, it's like sitting down with your mates. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
so
that's what it's all about.
That. I think that's like 8 o'clock, isn't it?
And then Shadows of Light.
Is William on Saturday or?
I think, this is the first weekend of this month, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
So William's on Saturday.
And then Shadows of Light on Sunday.
And Shadows and Lights on Sunday, that's at 7. And then on Monday, you got the Dark Mirror Boys talking about ufology and stuff. Freaky Fridays. Oh, Spirit Communication on Sunday, Shadow and Light Familiars. Excellent.
Oh.
So that's interesting. Thanks, Nettie. So, yeah, but definitely get in there for Nettie and Ian and Bri tomorrow night because you won't regret it. It's good fun. It's really good. It's really good. And I'm not just saying that, but it is good. I have to watch X, but a good man. So yeah, that's it, I think. And I haven't got a thing. I'll think of something for next week. And maybe if you guys want to throw a few topics out there, so me and the boys can discuss them.
Yes,
we'd appreciate that.
Good. Yeah,
we'd appreciate that. And if anybody wants to come on and have a chat with us about an experience they've had, or there's a particular topic they're interested in and they want to chat about it, come and join us.
And Catherine's with me, Dan, and Vivian.
Catherine's on the show on Wednesday on the show, the Simply Spooky show. That'll be brilliant. Can't wait to speak to Catherine. Lovely, lovely person. Lovely, lovely woman's Catherine. So it'll be great to sit down and chew the cud with her, as it were. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks very much, guys. Have a good, safe weekend. Lots of love to everybody, and stay safe.
Good night.
Night.